So recently I've taken apart a couple handheld radios, and they're very interesting. A lot of the things are just digital, but there's certainly analog sections. And if you look real close, you can see some coils here, and so there's some filters. And I thought it'd be interesting to talk about filters. They are interesting beasts, and I'm sure I don't have a double E degree, but I'm sure if you go to double E school, they spend a lot of times on filters. They talk about poles and zeros and complex numbers and transfer functions and yeah, all kinds of stuff. So I think you can get a good feel for them, though, just kind of in simple terms. And that's what my channel's all about. Learning the basics. One of the concepts that a really, really smart person told me once was, we all stand on the shoulder of giants. And standing on the shoulders of giants is a way to say that a lot of smart people have come before us, and we use their knowledge in order to prop us up, and we can build on top of those ideas. And so if you're just a hobbyist, you can just go to computer programs or books or the internet or whatever, and you can get these ideas. There are CAD programs that allow you to do things. You don't understand anything about it, but the CAD program does it for you. That's standing on the shoulder of giants. And I think it's nice to know a little bit about the underlying, what those people did, and kind of the foundations. But a lot of people will never need to be experts, all right? In order to be able to use something, you might not need to be an expert. You just need to know how to use it. So let's say you needed a filter in your product. Are you going to go to school and learn how to design filters and then design your own filter? Well, of course not. That would be silly. If you were an employee of mine doing that, I would fire you, because it's all been done, right? When I was doing double E type stuff in my way back days, I would get a book, and the book would tell me what to do. And then later on, it would be a CAD program, and the CAD program would tell me what to do. It's good to know which one to choose, and a lot of times that's up to a smart engineer. So you need to know something. But let's talk about filters. So let's start with the simple one. This is just an RC filter, all right? So what type of filter is this? Well, if we send in low frequencies, all right, the low frequencies will come in here, and they will continue on their merry way. If we send in high frequencies, the high frequencies would come in, and the high frequencies would then see this, and it would go to ground. So this capacitor is like an open when it's a DC, and it's like a short when it's an AC. And so you can think of this filter as this, where you have a resistive divider. And the value of this resistor changes with frequency, okay? And so if this was a capacitor, then this value lowers the higher the frequency. So then you can go ahead and plot this. You can say, okay, here's my, well, we'll call it T. Here's my transmission versus frequency, right? And so it'll come on its merry way, and then it'll roll off. When this thing starts to become a lower and lower resistance, you will get more and more division, and there'll be a point here where you only have half as much coming out, and that's when these two values would be the same. Now, this is a simplistic way of looking at it. It's not exactly a resistor. It's more complicated than that. But I think for thinking how these things work, this is an interesting exercise to do. It's just a resistive divider, okay? All right, let's just come back to here. And instead of having a capacitor, let's put in an inductor to ground, okay? Now we have an inductor to ground, all right? And this picture looks exactly the same. It's still a resistive divider, but the inductor is doing the whether it gets high or whether it gets low. At low frequencies, the inductor is going to look like a short. It'll just look like a wire, and it'll be zero. But at high frequencies, the high frequencies don't want to go through the inductor, so they will go on their merry way. So this would be a high-pass filter. It would allow high things to go through. Now, if you look at the definitions of these things, this resistor is X, okay, reactance. But you get one of my basic peeves in starting out with starting out learning electrical engineering is there's too many terms that kind of mean the same thing but don't mean the same thing, and it gets very complicated at the start, and I think that turns a lot of people off. But if you look at if you just think of this as some resistance, okay, it's the resistance of this thing, and it's a factor of 2 pi times the frequency times the capacitance, okay? And it's 1 over that, okay, because it gets smaller and smaller and smaller. So as the frequency gets bigger and bigger and bigger, this bigger and bigger number in the denominator makes this fraction get smaller and smaller and smaller, and that's why it goes down. And if this is if this is an inductor, then we have 2 pi Fc. What's that? Well, that's just the flip of this one. So instead of going down, 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 this one goes up, 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 up as the frequency gets bigger and bigger and bigger. All right. So you see that we have one way of making things go down, and we have one way of making things go up. And interestingly, if the frequency doubles, it goes down by half. If the frequency doubles, it goes up by 2. And so these things track with frequency. Right? Let's say we have a filter that looks like this. We'll get to maybe what type of filter this is later, but this is a common filter. And it's got the capacitor to ground, it's got an inductor, it's got another capacitor, it's got another capacitor. This looks way too complicated, right? If you tried to think of this as different resistors, it would look like this, okay? And all of these resistors would be variable with frequency, all right? So you would have an input and an output. So if you think about this, right? So this resistor here is this capacitor. These two resistors are these two things. And this resistor here is this thing. And so you can think of this as a resistive divider, but everything is changing with frequency, right? And so the capacitors are going down with frequency, and the inductors are going up with frequency. And so depending on where it is, you can see this one's getting smaller and smaller. This one's going to get smaller and smaller. But this one's going to get bigger, and that one's going to get smaller. So you can see that it's very complicated on whether something is going to go up or go down. If one of these is getting smaller, then it will increase the voltage. If one of these is getting smaller, it will decrease the voltage. If these two things are different, it'll teeter-totter. The current will either go this way or it will go that way. So these systems can be very, very complicated. And comment below, if you become an electrical engineer, is filter a a single course? Is it multiple courses? Is it is it a thesis? I mean, I know that you can probably get a PhD in just one particular filter design, but if you just get a normal double E, bachelor's degree, you know, how much time do they spend on filters? That would be interesting to me. All right. Okay, here's a radio, and there is a filter to the output, so this is where the antenna would be, and there's a filter before the antenna. So this filter is doing something, right? And it has several components. I'll show you a blow-up of it here. All right. So we'll consider how much of it. We'll consider this kind of as the filter. We have an inductor, capacitor, inductor, right? And so this is actually a low-pass filter. Now, why do you need a low-pass filter in a radio? If you have an output on a radio, let's say you have an FET, okay, and this FET is maybe doing something like this, and it's going at some frequency, and if you took a look at a spectrum analyzer, there's some frequency, the carrier, and you want this carrier here. Let's say it's FM, so this would go back and forth as you modulate the radio. Well, these things here are kind of outputting square waves. They're not a good sinusoidal thing. They're, you know, think of it like instead of a class A amplifier, it's like a class D amplifier or something. It's going to be outputting harmonics as well because of the square wave nature of it. So we'll have this harmonics coming out here at 2 times the frequency and 3 times the frequency. You'll get these harmonics. And there are regulations on how many harmonics a radio can output, so you can't have these things. So it's important that you have a filter, and that you have a filter that's designed to be something like this. And that filter comes and is a low-pass filter. It will reject these, and it will allow that one to go through. So it will allow your carrier to go through, but it will reject all of the harmonics. And that's why that filter is there. All right? So we're going to be taking a look at this filter, trying to figure out what kind of filter it is, what it's doing. We can measure this filter, see if it's working right.